Hi guys, Amanda here, coming to you on my Kama yoga mat. Today I want to guide us through a surfing inspired flow. I've been in San Diego for the last bit doing a ton of surfing, and my body has just been craving both the combination of releasing all those tense surfing muscles along with strengthening some of them so I can stay out in the water for as long as I want. So let's get to it. We'll start in downward facing dog. Come into down dog here. This is such a great pose to counter everything surfing. Everything, any form of paddling, water related sports really. Just allow your spine to lengthen. And really come into your breath here. Down dog isn't usually the first pose in a yoga sequence, but try to find that stability, that internal awareness, and a sense of calm here in this pose. With your inhales, press your palms firmly into the mat. With your exhales, let your hips get light and lift up towards the sky. In down dog here, I like to imagine someone has their fingers in my hip crease and they're pulling my hips up. And at the same time, my head is a bowling ball and it's being pulled down towards my hands. There's just this beautiful length being created in my spine. Deep breaths. There's currently a seagull that just landed on top of my phone setup. Go away. Oh, San Diego. From here, you might just step your feet back a little bit. Shift forward into a high plank pose. You might have to cut this out, but okay. Take two. Anyway, coming back to that down dog. From here, you might have to scoot your feet back a little bit. Shift forward into your high plank pose. Strong through your core here. I can't say how important core is for surfing. Honestly, how important core is for life. But specifically surfing, paddling out, popping up, catching the wave, carrying your surfboard, all the things. So let's find some comfort in the discomfort that is plank pose. We will be holding this pose for an uncomfortably long amount of time. Heads up. But you'll thank me later with your strong core. Press down through your palms. Create that dome shape in your upper back. Reach your heels towards the back of your space while you pull your collarbones and the crown of your head towards the front of your space. Couple more deep breaths here. And then from here, slowly exhale, downward facing dog. Find rest in your down dog here. Push your chest towards your shins. Almost like you're trying to do a cow pose while you're in down dog here. And then just like that, inhale, shift forward, come back into this plank pose. Strong through every single muscle in your body. Your fingertips down to your toes, everything in between. And now exhale, down dog. And this probably isn't your normal down dog since you're coming straight from a plank, a little longer than what feels natural. But embrace this structure of your down dog. Feel how it's stretching little different muscles in your legs and your back. And now we'll add on to that little flow. Shift forward, high plank. Inhale, breath here. Tense through all your muscles. Exhale, drop your hips. Gaze forward. We're in floating upward facing dog here. And then again, strong through all your muscles. Slowly exhale, downward facing dog. Releasing breath here. And again, shift forward into your high plank pose. Inhale. And then strong through your glutes, through your core. Drop your hips low, open up through your chest. And then exhale, downward facing dog. We'll flow through that breath to movement twice through. So inhale, shift forward, plank pose. Hold for your exhale. Inhale, drop your hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. One breath here. Inhale, high plank. Hold for your exhale. Inhale, drop your hips, open up through your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. From here, we're going to move through into chaturanga. So shift forward to your high plank. This time, tuck your elbows in, shift forward, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Everything about the chaturanga sequence is so beneficial for surfing. The strengthening side and the stretching side. Let your hips shift back and forth. And then walk your big toes together to touch. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, pigeon pose. So bring your right leg forward. Shin as close to parallel as you can get with the top of the mat. Left leg shoots out behind you in line with your body. Inhale, proud pigeon, puff your chest up. And then exhale, fold, whatever that means in your body. Pigeon pose looks so different in all of us. And just honor that. If you need to be laying on your back right now in supine figure 4, that's awesome. If you can rest your forehead on the mat here, that's awesome. The point of this pose is to release your hips, your lower back, your upper IT band. You shouldn't be feeling any pain in your knees. And play around while we're here in half pigeon with pressing your forearms into the mat. And then really try to pull. You won't actually do this, but think about pulling yourself forward, and it creates this beautiful stretch throughout your lower back and deepens the stretch in your hip. And again, just like in plank pose, try to get comfortable with the uncomfortableness of this pose. A lot of us are super tight in our hips. Let that come up. Play around with some neck rotations here too. It's always what starts to get fatigued first while I'm surfing. I'm just looking to the right, looking to the left. Then from here, shift on to your right hip and then swing this left leg around. We're gonna come into a seated supine twist. Stamp that left foot onto the ground. Hug your left leg with your right arm. Inhale, reach your left fingertips up. Plant that hand behind you. Come into this nice twist. This hand's really just here for support. You want the twist to be coming from your core and back muscles. Gaze behind you. And then exhale, turn for a little counter twist. And then come, bring your hands back to center. We'll come into this really graceful transition, or not, into downward facing dog. Bring your big toes together to touch, center line of your body. Inhale, left leg lifts up. Exhale, half pigeon. On the other side. Left shins parallel with the top of your mat here. Right leg sticks out behind you, straight in line with your body. And then we'll start here in proud pigeon again. So inhale, open up through your chest. And then exhale, fold. And my hips are so different on either side of my body, my right and my left. And that's okay. If you're doing a different variation of your fold from your left side and your right side, it's about finding balance, not being exactly the same, and honoring injuries you've had, tightnesses you have that are only on one side or the other, and working towards that balance. Another amazing similarity and something to pull from yoga into your surfing practice is the breath work. So as you're here in half pigeon, maybe getting a little uncomfortable, maybe feeling that heat building in your hip crease, just use your breath. Allow your breath to bring you to that state of peace and calm, just like you do when you're surfing, whether it's being trapped under a big wave, finding patience between sets, whatever it is. Your breath is there to guide you. I hope you guys are enjoying the sounds of the helicopters, the seagulls, the children, just like I am. From here, we'll shift over onto our left hip this time. Swing that right leg around. Plant your foot onto the mat. With your left arm, hug that right knee in. Right fingertips reach up. Plant your hand behind you. And come into that spinal twist. Gaze directly behind you. Long spine here. And exhale, come into that counter twist. And then again, we'll just flip over our feet and come back into our downward facing dog. Ooh, my down dog feels so different than the first one of practice. Feels a lot more comfortable with my open hips. Take a couple breaths here. We'll come into a little warrior sequence here now. Bring your big toes back together to touch. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Spin your back foot down. Come up, warrior two. Feel that nice opening through your hips as you rotate your right knee out. Reach your fingertips in opposite directions. Inhale, reverse warrior. Feel that juicy side body stretch. Exhale, extended side angle. Strong core, legs stay as they are. Inhale one more time back to reverse warrior. And then exhale, warrior two. We'll come into crescent pose now. So shift onto your back toes. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then bring your right fingertips back to your left hamstring and come into exalted warrior. So we're in this subtle back bend, slight gaze upward, and feeling that deep stretch in your left hip flexor. From here, exhale your palms down to the mat. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Inhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big toes join. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left foot steps between your hands. Warrior two. Again, come into that warrior two pose deep into your hips. Left knee pushes out this time. Fingers reach in opposite directions. Inhale, reverse warrior. Side body stretch. Exhale, extended side angle. Strong through your obliques, legs stay as they are. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Coming back into that crescent pose, so spin onto your back 5 right toes, reach your fingertips up, and then this left hand comes down, grabs for your right hamstring, slight gaze up. Feel that nice release in your right hip flexor, opening through your chest. And then exhale. Your hands go down onto the mat. All the dogs. Plank pose. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple of releasing breaths here. And then gaze up to your hands. Step your feet up to meet your hands. I'm going to turn to face you guys. You guys can stay facing the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Reach up, look up. Exhale, chair pose. Sink low into your chair. Inhale here. Exhale, airplane arms. Strong through your triceps. Open up through your chest. Strong through your core. Inhale, chair. One more time, just like that. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale, chair. Coming into eagle pose, so wrap your right arm around your left and your right leg around your left leg. Come to find your balance. Totally fine if your right toes are on the mat resting for a little support. Once you find that balance here, sink your hips low and then start to bring your elbows up in line with your shoulders. Feel that amazing opening in your upper back. Squeeze your femur bones as if you're trying to touch them together. This is such a great pose to counter all the surfing muscles we use and strengthen the ones we need. One more breath here. Inhale, mountain pose. Everything stretches out. Exhale, forward fold. Deep bend in your knees. Let everything go. Oh. Big toes come together to touch again. Inhale, chair pose. We'll come on to eagle on the other side. So bring that left hand down and around the right. This time left leg reaches up, wraps around the right leg. Again, come to find your balance. your comfortability, if that's possible, in this pose. Squeeze everything into the center line of your body. And then as you're ready, slowly begin to reach your elbows up in line with your shoulders. Feel that amazing opening in your upper back between your shoulder blades. Squeeze your femur bones together. Sink your hips low. Strong through your core. It's like a golf swing. There's a million things to think of, and the second you think of the next one, you forget the one before it. But just try to find what feels good in this eagle pose here. One more breath. Inhale, mountain pose. Reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your feet out hip width distance apart. Deep bend in your knees. And let your torso hang heavy. Whatever feels good with your hands here. Whether your fingertips are resting on the mat, you can interlace your hands at the nape of your neck, add a little extra resistance on pulling your head down. I love to interlace my fingers at my low back. Pull your knuckles towards the ground. Just do you here. Release your hands wherever they were. Inhale, come to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, breath, slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Head, the last thing to come. Inhale, palms touch above your head. And then exhale, we're slowly going to come down to find a seat. So start by coming into like a chair pose here. And then just let your hips go past your knees, almost to touch your heels, until you find the ground and boat pose, which we'll hold for just a second here. This is, again, such a great pose for everything surfing. You can grab onto the backs of your knees, reach your fingertips forward, straighten your legs, whatever you're feeling. One more deep breath here. And then hug your knees into your chest. And we'll rock and roll the length of our spine a few times here. Oh, this is one of my favorite things to do. You've had your fill with your spinal rolls. Come up to a seat. And you scoot back to the back of your space. Legs go out long. Our last pose here, a beautiful little forward fold. Now with forward folds, usually the focus is your hamstrings, which I still want us to focus on, but I also want there to be an intention going to releasing your lower back. So reach your fingertips up, and as you fold forward, place a deep bend in your knees, and really, and you can be grabbing onto your ankles for this too. If you have super tight hamstrings, that's totally fine. But really pull your torso towards your feet. And feel that release in your lower back. I'm really tugging at my feet here. My arms are completely engaged. And I'm feeling this beautiful release right above my hips here in my lower back. Let your chin come to your chest. And if you're done focusing on your lower back, you can slowly release that tight grip of your feet. Kind of just let your legs go out, more noodle-like. Just let your forearms rest. And this can also be up here. We can be up here, and this could be a super deep hamstring stretch. It's going to look different in everyone. So however that looks in your body, but breathe into your hamstrings and let that breath ignite that beautiful release. From here, slowly roll up to a seat. Plant your feet in front of your hips. Scoot forward. And slowly, with an engaged core, roll back one vertebrae at a time. And bring your knees into your chest. Ooh, my back just cracked. Make circles with your knees. A little more release in our lower back here, if we hadn't had enough of that already. Just really move organically here. Whatever you need at the end of this nice little sequence. Happy baby, shoulder stand, plow pose, whatever you need. And when you are ready, and slowly come up. Meet me in a comfortable seat on your mat. And we'll close this sequence out with a united breath. So inhale, reach your fingertips up, palms come together to touch. And bring your hands down to your heart center. Exhale out all your air. Together, deep inhale. Through your mouth, let it go. Exhale. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you found what serves you from this flow. From my light to yours, namaste.